Otherwise, we'll move on.
Anyway, I should say something. Good morning, colleagues. For some time, we've been trying to organize this session. Important as it is, we think that at our individual institutional level, we may have some challenges. We may have developed some solutions. And when we meet like this, it is important for us to share these strategies that we use in developing solutions to the challenges that we have faced. Garnet is one, and therefore we too should be one. We have tried as much as possible to individually get connected. But unfortunately, we do not share these ideas. So in discussions with Lucas, I felt that when we meet at this forum, we'll be able to understand where we are, why we are where we are, why we cannot move beyond there. And then together, we can set up or we can enforce our technical team, support the technical team to move from institution to institution so that by the time we are having the conference in Lome, we should be able to positively indicate that all of us are at that level. That is the essence of this meeting for today. It's not going to be a one-off. It's going to be a continuous interaction. We're going to have it periodically to update ourselves and to know where we are going. We intend having the board inaugurated before the end of this month. We intend getting the World Bank also to transfer, in fact, they should be doing that within the next week or so, transfer their commitment towards the 275,000 euros into our account, which will help us to move forward. When we get the board, the World Bank has asked us to be able to put the board and the management structures in place within the shortest possible time. We faced a little bit of challenges at the Registrar General's department. And the challenge was that the first two signatories, first two directors who were on the registration form for Garnet at Registrar General would not want to sign off. So with a little small law knowledge I knew, I suggested to Registrar General that we would increase our number of directors. We'll increase our number, and then with the increased number, we'll be able to continue. Since they are former vice chancellors, we'll now be able to get the board running. Else, we might not have a board, which will be unconstitutional for the survival of Garnet. When we get that done within the next few days, and the board inaugurated before the end of the month, then the management, the secretariat can also be constituted, and we move forward from there. So I believe that everyone has come here prepared with the charts of where we are and where you intend going, so that we will then elect or nominate our technical team that will move from institution to institution to assist in the connectivity aspects. Basically, this is the small message I'm coming with from the Secretariat. And BCJ wishes you well. We are always there for you, and we'll always be there for you. Let's interact. Let's share ideas. No suggestion or no idea is wrong. No idea is useless. Every idea is good. And I usually say that position is not possession. Let's work together and we'll achieve greater results. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. We will have a bit of self-introduction so that we know exactly the personnel gathered here. Traditionally, we'll go right to left. So we'll start from here.
Yeah. Abraham Bruce, Head of Network Infrastructure and Operations, UITS, KNUST.
Peter Amwakon-Yirenchi, University ICT Consultant.
Please.
Okay. Okay, you can. Cameraman. The cameraman should shoot. Yeah. Cameraman.
Yeah. Emmanuel Afo, Head of Software Development Services, UITS, KNUST.
Akute Azu, Systems Analyst.
Where?
UITS.
Where? Kwabena Nyanting, Head of Training and Support, KNUST.
James Amina, IT Director, UPSA.
Eleanor Afo, Network Engineer, UPSA.
Nicholas Donko, Acting Head, University of Education, Winneba.
Nana Diewu, Acting Head, UNE, IT, Sasson.
Gilbert Mensah, Head of Software, UNE.
Glenn Musruchi, UNE, Technical Lead.
John Ezo Kome, Central University.
Emmanuel Togo, University of Ghana.
Father Philip Amankwa Damkwa, Head of ICT Unit, CUCG.
Ade Otredako, Network Engineer, UCC.
Ernest Kojo Bentum, Head of Management Information Systems Section, University of Cape Coast.
Samuel Teria Jobwa, ICT Technician, Garden City University College.
Paul Safo, Garden City University College.
Emmanuel J, Acting IT Manager, PUC.
Prince Adai, PUC.
Francis Kadmabochi, Deputy Chief IT Officer, Infrastructure, University of Ghana.
Yanko Benjamin Otis, University of Mines and Technology, Network Administrator.
Eshen Emmanuel, UMAT.
Benjamin Anania Samoa, Senior ICT Assistant, UDS. All right. Yes.
Sorry, Bismarck John Kwashi, Deputy Director, University of Professional Studies, Accra.
Jacob Akuno, NCT. Fred Ekupan, Methodist University.
Emmanuel Kiche, Director, Methodist University, ICT.
Okay. Right. Thank you very much. Sorry, I don't know whether you all have copies of the program outline. If you don't, then please hold on. We are going to have it. What we are going to do is that we'll have a presentation on the need for IT Directors Forum. But I want to inform you that we'll have a snack after that. And then we'll have 3 more presentations, after which we'll break for lunch. And then 2 more before the group or open discussions. That is the summary of the schedule for the day. At this juncture, I would like to call on Regina Jampo or Emmanuel or Bin Ajay to make a presentation. That's the first presentation. Regina Jampo from UCC. Oh, all right. She has a rep. The deputy will do the presentation. Okay.
Hello, Mr. Director. Hello. Please, I think one person didn't introduce himself, and he's at the table, so he has to also introduce, and then we know who he is. Thank you.
Sorry, it was oversight. Yes, please, can you introduce yourself? Thank you. Please.
It's on. Okay. Lucas Chigabatia, Chief IT Officer, University of Ghana. Thank you.
Right, a bit of technical challenge. Whilst waiting for that to be resolved, shall we have a discussion in the form of expectations from this forum? Again, we'll move in that direction. What do you expect out of this forum so that we put our thoughts together? Yes.
The suggestion I want to advance is, should we be having quarterly meetings or twice in a year? Should this forum be a quarterly meeting or for the initial, so that we meet much more frequently, and then thereafter, after some time where we are airborne, and we are cruising at autopilot, and then we can reduce the number of the frequency of meetings. So if we are meeting quarterly, we may be meeting from here, from K University. Should not be only K University. We should be going to private universities, should be able to host us, and then thereafter we visit their infrastructure to see how the system is. And this is my humble suggestion, if it will be possible.
Yes, please, if you have anything to say. But before then, can we have about one or two people to pen down whatever we yes. NCT. All right, so our friends from NCT. Jacob. Please, Jacob, where are you? Right, thank you very much. And we are assisted by Mr. Kwabena Nyantin. Kobe, please, shall we see you? Good. Right. So, if you have anything to say with regards to this gathering, yes, Jacob.
Yes, I would like to say something about what Mr. Kaba suggested. I believe for now, since we are now taking up, the quarterly will be very much appropriate to help us so that when we take off, then we can now put in some distance as to meeting times. I think quarterly will help give some updates and keep us active going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, who else? Please, we are here to discuss our issues. Shall we have your contributions?
Yeah, I think that is the best idea. Certainly, we need to meet as often as possible. And when we autopilot, then I think we can decide to meet twice every year.
If you talk of as often as possible, can you
suggest quarterly? Something? I mean, I agree with the quarterly.
Quarterly?
Yes.
Right. Yes, any other? I think I may have to do my normal thing. We go from seat to seat. Shall we start from here, please?
Director, you're talking about expectations.
Yes, and contributions in any form.
Yeah, I think most of the universities are complaining about costs of bandwidth. So I think by the end of this meeting, we should have been able to come out with ways to reduce the cost for the individual universities. I mean, that's my opinion.
All right, please.
Good morning. So, I heard that we were talking about expectation, and sorry I'm late. I agree that bandwidth is a key issue here.
Sorry, please then introduce yourself so we'll get to know you.
My name is Ojangba Dake. I am from AIMS, Ghana, African Institute for Mathematical Sciences. Okay. So, yes, that is very true. But my expectations are for us to keep an eye on the bigger picture here. What we are trying to do as Garnet is to build a physical network among our member institutions. Bandwidth is a key pillar of that. It is the advantage of bandwidth here is that it will help us to sell the business case for that here. And AIMS, for instance, our main interest is in access to high-performance computing because we are primarily a research institution. We do a lot of computation. Lucas, University of Ghana has high-performance computing. Other universities, I think KNUST also have high-performance computing clusters. Because of that network, we can collaborate and share without having to build our own cluster. So we should keep an eye on all of these things and focus on getting that network done. My main worry is the cost of building that network from our individual campuses to Accra. We need to figure out a way of building it in a cost-effective manner so that we don't blow up our individual IT, internet, or bandwidth budgets. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. Yes, who else? Any ideas? Please.
Sir, my contribution is that Garnet should have standard of equipment for each institution because we all run our own infrastructure and we don't really know what is required. So we are being forced to buy our own infrastructure. Later on, you realize that you need to change certain devices. So there should be some kind of standards from Garnet to all institutions so we follow. That's my major contribution.
Yes.
To support what the last person said, I think if there's a way Garnet, especially from the Vice Chancellor's Secretariat, to come up with a standard, as he said, and do some kind of audit and come out with a report and engage management, especially at the level of the Vice Chancellors. Because in most cases, I'm sure my colleagues will bear witness, it's difficult trying to convince management to invest in technology. Despite the justification, they still don't invest. So I think that if we take it from this level, they will take it more serious. And if the standards are there, we do audit and give report and engage them on some kind of discussion. It will also assist us, the operational guys, because it's frustrating. You see things not being done right, but you don't have the power, so to say, to change or influence decision in your institution. So if you can take it up, it will help some of us. Thank you.
Right, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. My major concern is about what happened probably after the initial capital expenditure that has actually been made now. What is the next level, and what are we as institutions going to put in place in order to ensure that we get these services and infrastructure running after probably the funds from, let's say, World Bank, and our initial contribution has actually depleted. I think we need to come up with a framework guiding the way forward after our initial capital has actually been expended.
All right, thank you. Right, we will now have the first presentation by Ernest Bentum on behalf of Regina Jampo, Director ICT UCC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you all once again. I'm here to make a presentation on the behalf of my director, Dr. Regina Jampo Viduga, the Director of ICT Services, University of Cape Coast. And the presentation is entitled, The Need for ICT Directors Forum. Since our business here today is to, it's about Garnet, I would like to use Garnet in my analysis. So in the introduction, we all know that Garnet has been established in some few years ago in order to, or the mission statements are, to support and help build a strong and viable institutional network and infrastructure, organize and attend workshops on ICT and its related issues, have one voice on national policies when dealing with ICT-related issues, negotiate cheaper bandwidth for members of Garnet. If we consider these mission statements, then the role of IT directors in universities is critical. For this reason, I would want us to consider the mission statement and look at where we are. Currently, there is an attempt to bring all universities together in order to join Garnet, which that is being done well. However, it is not clear who does what. There are challenges with resources, such as finance to drive this project. Internet bandwidth and security is also a challenge. No established support center. If we consider the following, then there is a need for IC directors to come together and have one voice so that they can contribute actively towards decision making, and not only for Garnet, but in all areas when it comes to ICT issues, even at the national level. Having established the need, I would like us to also consider what we need for us to be able to establish the forum. For us to be able to establish the forum, we need a clear vision. We also need a mission statement. We have to also identify our roles as ICT directors. Then we need to also indicate the way forward, to establish the way forward. Having this in mind, I would like to make a proposal at this stage in terms of what we need to establish the forum. That is the vision, mission, roles as ICT directors, and the way forward. So this is just a proposal. Concerning the vision of the forum, we suggest this statement: coming together with one voice to establish and support national policies and issues relating to ICT for universities and tertiary education, as the vision statement. With a mission, one, organize seminars and events on ICT and related issues, discuss new technologies and money-saving strategies, share experiences with colleagues on the challenges faced by their individual institutions, making sure our voice is collectively represented at VCG meetings and other important ICT meetings. to collectively support in the building of ICT infrastructure, to support teaching, research, collaboration, and sharing of resources. And for example, the Garnet, then it means that as part of our mission, we have to collectively support. Let's come to the roles as ICT directors for this proposed association. As ICT directors, as we all know, we play a pivotal role in developing and delivery of ICT vision and strategies of our institutions. So for these reasons, our roles regarding this association or forum will be: 1, promote new and innovative technologies to our various institutions. Actively participate at workshops and conferences and events, and share lessons from experiences such as achievements and even challenges. Now, to establish the way forward, we also propose that we establish a secretariat and appoint representatives to coordinate our forum activities. Rotation of ICT directors to represent VCG meetings. Rotation of ICT directors to represent national, international forum and conferences. Address security issues on how individual universities will be protected when they join Garnet. Fair play in sharing Garnet resources. Then I would also want to draw the following conclusions. 1, we should have a one-stop secretariat to support. We should have one-stop secretariat support center for all universities when we join Garnet. And I think during the expression of expectation, people raise concerns as to how they could get support when it comes to this area. So I think it's one of the conclusions that we are drawing. Clear documentation of who does what is also important. Accountability of financial resources to drive this project. Address proper security measures, which has been said. So this is the end of this presentation. Thank you for your time. If there are any questions, we can. Yes, if there are any questions to be asked or discussion, we can do that. That's, maybe I have to ask permission from the chairman. So I'm done with my presentation.
Yes, I believe it's open up for discussions, if you have any contribution on the presentation. Clarification, what have you? Please, it's our own meeting to discuss our future, so let's make sure we contribute.
Director.
What we are going to do, probably.
Hello. Director, can we ask a question?
Yes, okay.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we need to clearly define is the difference between Garnet and the ICT Directors Forum. I believe from what I'm hearing from the UCC presentation, it means that you're going to have a bigger body, which is maybe the Garnet, and then you have the ICT Directors Forum. So the differentiation will have to be clear, because I think Garnet goes beyond maybe us. The researchers are asking questions, how they are going to, our finance people, our registrars. So I see that this is a smaller nucleus under the major umbrella Garnet. I mean, that's what I'm seeing from this presentation Mr. Bentum made. Thank you.
Yes,
hello, can I come in before you respond? Francis Boachi here. I think following from what my colleague had just said, initially I think Peter asked what we're expecting to achieve from here. From the presentation, as he said, I think we need a clarity of a way forward. One of the things that I think we need to focus on is getting established office for Garnet. I mean, having permanent employees. to engage with it, because there will be no need for ICT rotation direction that you have selected. If we have permanent staff that we can engage with, then the issue of standardization, technical support, PR, all this will be sorted. But currently, I think we're in a transition. And I think if I should assume that we're in transition, then probably your suggestion will work if we have rotation of ICT directors making presentation at VCG. Otherwise, really, all we need is a focal point, and then as a feed, they feed to all the various institutions the same kind of information at the same time, not one getting it 1 week, 3 weeks, 4 weeks before. And we would have the same kind of, if you like, idea of where we don't. There are so many things we can obtain from coming together, and I think that argument is cannot be misconstrued. But if we have a focus that this is the unit, if we have an issue, this is where you go to. If there's any information that has to be given to all the institutions, it goes out there, and then people can contact and people can be accountable. I think that is the role all other, if you like, regional network operating centers across the globe. That's what they do. They have an office. But I think we have been in transition. So if we are suggesting is about this transitional period, then I think we agree. Otherwise, we have established unit office that we can interact with, and then there will be no ambiguity at all. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me make another quick intervention in this regard. That Garnet is not for ICT directors alone. We have many stakeholders involved. And we have been called here just because we are major stakeholders in this. We are talking about ICT directors coming together to, as it were, promote their interest in a way. And as I made in the presentation, discuss, share ideas, and so on. So this is purposely for ICT directors coming together, having one voice, discussing issues when it comes to maybe representation at various fora, and even at the national level, we can have one voice. And this is what we are trying to put across. And I think Garnet is a national, bigger project. We can also have one common voice when it comes to issues dealing with Garnet. Thank you very much.
If I may add, you realize that, and I was just looking through most of the statutes of our public and private university. If you realize, most universities, ICT directorates have been relegated to the background. Only a few, I'll make a few exceptions. If you see Legon's statutes, and you see UCC statutes, and now KNUST, you see that it's different from if you look at the other public universities. In these three major universities, ICT is seen as an enabler, whilst in the other universities, it's seen as a support service. So if we, as Mr. Bentum is saying, we're supposed to have a common voice, have standardization. If you go to the accountants, you can't play around with them. If somebody is a chartered accountant in KNUST, he's treated the same way as a person in Legon and otherwise. If you come to ICT, the placement is very different. You see somebody with a master's in ICT in one university, but if you go to another university, he's a technician. So if, as Mr. Bentu is saying, we don't come together as a group and have a common voice and make deliberation during Vice Chancellor's meeting, during NITA meeting, needing NCA, and then even fair wages, then we will go nowhere. So I think we have to significantly differentiate between Garnet and ICT director. As he's saying, Garnet is a bigger body because the researchers, a few of our researchers here, and even the VCs are complaining that it looks like it's become an IT thing. But Garnet or research networks goes beyond ICT. So I think it's a good thing that Mr. Bentu and his boss is coming out, that we have a unit that will focus. And then, as Mr. Francis said, that goes, Mr. Francis is trying to make a point that we shouldn't go the same way we went to Ghana. We should also have a focus point. If ICT directors can establish a small office where we can meet and then have a common interest, that will help. Thank you.
Okay, if I may make a contribution here. So I see an attempt to differentiate between Garnet and the ICT Directors Forum. A proposal. I think that before we begin to formalize an ICT directors unit or association, we need to formalize Garnet. We need to fix one problem before we move to the next one. And like Mr. Boachi said, Francis said, Garnet has been in a perpetual state of transition for several years now. I think we all agree on what the solutions to this are, and because we've talked about it at length. So we need to do the final talking and fix the problems at Garnet. The ICT Directors Forum, as I see it, is supposed to be a talk shop. It's supposed to be a place where we come here to discuss issues, primarily with Garnet, to discuss them, to have a common understanding, and then when we start implementing things at the Garnet level, nobody is confused or nobody feels left behind, because Garnet really is not the ICT directors. It is the institutions that sign on to Garnet. We IT directors do not sign on to Garnet. The institutions we represent are the ones that do. So we need to come together and fix a few things that have already been raised. The fact is, when we finish building this network, this physical network, we are going to need permanent staffing to support that network. If the link that Garnet provides goes down at 6 p.m., who should Abraham call? Who is going to give him an SLA and guarantee that SLA? Okay. So which means that we need to have an office structure, blah, blah, blah. But before you get to that, you need to have some kind of accountability, which I think is the point the World Bank representative raised in our meeting a few weeks ago, that we need to move forward quickly to finalize that governance, accountable governance structure, so that we can begin to, that structure can begin to, by fiat, spend money to solve these smaller logistical problems, because these things we are talking about are mainly logistical problems. There needs to be some authority to get to solve them. When you say you want to set up an office, when you say you want to employ people, all of that, you must have some kind of governance, accountable governance that will allow people to have the authority to make these kinds of decisions. That is my contribution onto this.
I think I would like to make a quick response here. In fact, we are not trying to, we want to contribute as IT directors, and we think that not only to the success of Garnet, but to other events and other policies, even at the national, local level, and at the national level. And we think that we can do this very well when we have a coordinated, approach. And that is the main reason why we are calling for this forum. Not to come into the affairs, direct operations or affairs of Garnet and try to say that, no, that's not what we're trying to do. But to have our forum, we discuss our issues. But if, for example, Garnet is a national, project that is supposed to support every university's ICT directors are involved, yes, we can come together, think about how we can also support. Because Garnet is not calling, they can call registrars as well. They can call other professionals as well and discuss issues with them. So we also want to, and it's done for we have as Abraham indicated, the accountant forum, where they meet and discuss their issues. So this is just what we're trying to do, and not to mingle with the affairs of Garnet. So I just want to make this clarity and make this intervention. Thank you.
Yes, let me just make a quick list. And I think Mr. Jangba's contribution, I think, is adding on to what Mr. Boachi said. I think it's very important. I think we should even have a timeline to the establishment of the Secretariat. I think that is very important. We need to do that before we leave here in this workshop. It's a very key thing when it comes to the success of Garnet.
Hello. Mr. Bentum, it looks like during your submission, I saw mission statement, vision statement, and so forth. I have some few questions to ask. Now, are these statements for Garnet or ICT Directors Forum?
Forum. ICT Directors Forum.
Now, if Garnet has an umbrella vision statement, then it means once, does Garnet have that?
I think that Garnet
They don't yet. Okay, my suggestion is Garnet should have an umbrella strategic, mission or vision statement. Now, if we get these, then we can create strategic plans per the vision statements so that we get to know how we see ourselves possibly in 3 years, 5 years, and so on and so forth. The other issue is if we have a strategic plan in place, what we will benefit as IT directors will be we can align our various institutional strategic plans with these plans so that any initiatives that we can get, that we sort of derive from these strategic plans, from the Garnet strategic plan, should actually reflect in the strategic plans in our various institutions. Now, if the IT directors come out and then get involved directly in the implementation of the strategic plans in the various institutions, as Mr. Brewsam said, Abraham, we will be more recognized because in that direction, we wouldn't be seen as only a group of people rendering service to the university. We become a nucleus to, like a cog in an engine to the progress of the university. In the same way, if we have vision, mission, and hence the strategic plan of Garnet, we will definitely know, as one of my colleagues said, we will definitely know where we will be in the next year, 2 or 3 years, and then we work towards those objectives and initiatives. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I think I agree with you to a very large extent, what you have suggested. With Garnet, yes, that's why I think this forum is also geared towards, making information available to us, for all of us to know how they are organizing and the success story ahead in the nearest future. So then, with this forum, it's just a proposal. ICT Directors Forum is just a proposal. And let's see how things unfold. We can continue with the discussion even as we live here. And when we reach a common, we can. So that is it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for the presentation. We have the next presentation, but I will suggest that we have a snack break before the second presentation. And during the break, please, Emmanuel and Atuyosin should prepare for the next presentation. Thank you very much. The table is set outside. Please, shall we go out for a snack break? Thank you.